industry at the beginning of my career. I worked in quite a small independent agency, so obviously what goes with that is being involved in quite a lot of the business administration, but one thing that I found was that I wasn't actually so aware of that level of knowledge prior to doing the certificate, so I found that actually going through the process allowed me to understand and be kind of conscious about my competencies.
Well, similarly, I've also had experience working with a smaller agency where you do get the opportunity to get a bit more involved in business finances, and I actually thought before taking the course that my level of knowledge was really quite good, and that actually this would be a breeze, it would be fine. But from going through the material, it actually really helped to enhance the knowledge that I did have, but also unearthed a few holes in my knowledge that obviously then the course was able to plug. So yeah, that was really interesting to discover that I perhaps didn't know quite as much as I thought I did in the first place. I mean, the levels are great because it means that you can take it at your own pace, and also once you've chosen a level, you're not stuck with it. So there might be a particular topic where you have more or less confidence than others. So I found that if there was a particular area where I thought actually I'll try just to sort of just do a bit of an overview of this, but then found something quite interesting that I didn't know quite as much as I thought, the information's there, you're able to kind of drill down and find out a little bit more.
I think it's quite intuitive, and there's little tests up front in each of the sections. And actually one thing I found was that because it's separated into sections, say there's creative sections and media sections, as with many of the IPA learning resources, actually I found myself doing the media element in as much depth as the creative element, because actually there were really useful things there to take externally from the overall programme to put into more junior financial inductions for participants in our own CPD programme. I think it's given me more of an overarching insight, not just into a specific sector, but actually there's quite a bit on there that is relating to clients' profitability and looking beyond just sales value and volume, actually going further into their share price and how that can affect on the plans on when they buy what we do. So it's quite a lot of content that I think is really useful to keep going back to. Having done it and kind of passed the test, I've found myself actually going back and refreshing on certain elements when it's been relevant to projects that I've been working on. Yeah, there's quite a lot on there around contracts, and then, as I mentioned before, client-specific things. So it's actually making sure that you're conscious of those areas where you're not as strong on, where you haven't consistently used that throughout your past, that then you can pick up on when you have those relevant moments, because actually now you're conscious that there is a resource there to be used.
One of the things that I found quite interesting from going through the material is actually the process and the logic behind setting things like credit limits for clients. I found that really interesting because actually it's quite easy, especially in an account management situation, to get you sort of understand the process of bringing a project in, getting it done well, keeping your client happy, but actually you've got to make sure that that investment of time is a good one and that you're actually going to get paid by this client. So kind of managing the risks as well. So I found that really, really useful. And also things like contracts as well. I mean, that's something that obviously you can use on an ongoing basis. And the course is really good at pointing out some of the things that you really need to watch out for, and the implications of some of the clauses as well. So it's just being a bit more aware of that kind of thing. In terms of helping to manage a team as well, making sure that they understand the importance of pinning down things like a scope of work before a project kicks off. I think it's something that's very easy to assume that we all do, but actually looking at the financial implications of a scope changing and then being able to have the confidence to have a conversation with a client based on some sound knowledge and then obviously have that discussion without it having a negative impact on your client relationship. But obviously the relationship is the most important thing at the end of the day. So I think that confidence really helps with monitoring the relationship as it goes forward. I think once a number of us have started to do it and realised that actually, as I mentioned before, it's that confidence that it gives people and being able to have sometimes tricky conversations with clients, but based on a sound foundation. I think it's just changed the way that we work, and I think now it's sort of almost drilled into our culture that people now realise they're not just working on one project, they see the bigger picture, they see that their contribution to the agency's profitability and our success all hinges on having that commercial awareness, and I think that's what it's for everyone. That's why anyone that starts working with us at Hunterlodge will have to do the certificate.
So it's part of the welcome programme. Welcome to the commercial certificate.
Yes.
That's excellent. Thank you, Sarah. And I have to say that Total Media, and remember this is going to be mandatory for account directors in media agencies, so this is like a really novel thing for you guys, have already got a very large number of people who've qualified. It might well be your entire account director layer. So what do you think the agency sees as the benefit ultimately?
I think for us, you're very right, it is the account director layer, but also group heads and team heads are increasing number of specialist teams. So quite often we're having new people come to the business from a mobile background or from digital display or PPC, and actually coming from a non-account director background, quite a lot of these people don't understand that actually how lower level accounting detail really can affect the management accounts moving forward. So actually making sure that everyone within the agency has a common language and a common understanding of why actually the really basic admin is really, really important to us all, and that they are able to then see that out through their teams right down through to everyone.
Fantastic. Ladies, thank you so much for your time.